Hello, welcome to Tabu Talk. I'm your host, Space Dreamer II. You can call me SD2. Tonight, I wanted to discuss something that I saw a couple of the independent news channels that I like to watch. They were talking about how Trump just put out there his entire plan to just be a dictator for life. And I don't really watch like regular news in real time. I only tend to get my information from the independent channels that I pay attention to on YouTube. So, without further ado, here we
go. You probably heard this weekend that Donald Trump told an audience on Friday night that if they vote for him this November, if he's voted back into office this November, they will never have to vote again. He told an audience on Friday to, quote, get out and vote just this time. He said after this time, quote, you won't have to do it anymore. You won't have to vote anymore. He said, quote, in 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good, and you're not going to have to vote. Now, this is not the first time Trump has told a campaign audience that they will never have to vote again once they vote him back in this time. And that is as alarming as it sounds for all the reasons that you immediately think it is, right? I mean, he's positing this like this is a happy thing. Oh, joy, never having the burden of voting again, right? The point of democracy is that we vote all the time, and we like it. That's how we decide what happens in our country. He's promising his followers that he'll end all of that. And it's exactly what you think it is. But let me also point out something more strange, which has been happening at the same time and hasn't had as much attention. The day before Trump made those remarks on Friday he said, you're never going to have to vote again after you vote for me this one time. The day before that, on Thursday last week, he didn't say that people wouldn't have to vote anymore once he was elected this November. No, the day before that, on Thursday, he told his supporters, not that they're not going to have to vote again, but that they don't have to vote this time, that they don't need to vote for him this November.
That right there tells you that he's got something up his sleeve. If he's saying that they don't have to vote, then he is definitely got something planned to disrupt our normal way of voting. I don't trust him anyway.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes. He said that on Thursday last week. And it turns out this is something, when you look, he says this all the time now. Watch.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
We don't need votes. I tell my people, I don't need any votes. We got all the votes we need. I don't need votes.
We don't need votes. We got more votes than anybody's ever had.
You don't have to vote. Don't worry about voting. The voting, we got plenty of votes.
Don't worry about voting. Of all the weirdness around this campaign, this is a truly strange thing to tell people, right? Don't vote. I don't need your vote. I don't want your vote. I mean, all the surface level weirdness is, worth noting. Having a new position on literally anything you can think of as soon as any random rich guy tells you to. That's a weird thing. Picking the eccentric billionaire's intern for your running mate, even though you apparently had no idea who he was or what a disaster he is on television. All of this is weird. But telling voters, do not bother to vote for me. It doesn't matter if you do. I don't need your votes. That is a thing that should prick up your ears.
It should really make you stop and wonder, like, what is it that he's planning to do? But it's very clear, no matter how you look at it, that he's planning to cheat. Because when he tells his own base not to bother voting for him, he's planning something. They're all planning something. And in this planning, they're gonna try and take the country any way possible. They're trying to do Project 2025, even though they see it's not going their way.
Because what that means is that he doesn't think he needs to win the vote to win the election. He doesn't think he needs to win the election in order to take power. He thinks something other than votes is going to determine whether or not he gets back in the White House. At Rolling Stone today, they profile 70 different election officials who have been put into position in the swing states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, who are election denialists, committed election denialists. Officials that have been put in place in all of those swing states to make sure that election results, no matter what they are, do not get certified in those states this year. Quote, at least 22 of these election officials have already refused or delayed certification processes in recent elections.
Okay. In Arizona, they can't delay it like that because just like what happened in 2020, it's against the law for them to take more than 2 weeks to turn it in. It wasn't a threat when the governor said, I will arrest you if you don't get that certification in. And he had to. It's the law, because he would have been arrested and they just would have put somebody else there temporarily or had it certified another way. They just they just know they can't win without cheating because they're not popular. We don't like their policies if they freaking have any. I mean, the country runs on more than just the border. What else are you going to do besides give your rich friends tax breaks and make the rest of us pay for it? Put tariffs on countries that import stuff to us and make the rest of us pay for it. You can tell your gullible buffoons that the countries are going to pay for it, but it's not. Because if they believe that, they don't know how doing business works. And the sad part is you're supposed to, and you're flat out lying to them.
According to Democratic election lawyer Mark Elias, quote, I
Boy,
think we
that
are
was a
going to see
tangent.
mass refusals to certify the election in November. Quote, Republicans are counting on not just that they can disrupt the election in big counties, they're counting on the fact that if they don't certify in several small counties, you can't certify statewide results. 70 officials in place across just the swing states. For all the surface level weird behavior and language and strange choices and incoherence and odd donors in the Republican campaign, the serious core at the heart of it is that they are not planning on the vote being counted as normal. They are not counting on the election results being tallied as normal. They are not counting on the vote. And in fact, Trump is now repeatedly saying the vote will not matter. He doesn't even want your vote. The Republicans are counting on the election results not being certified, thereby creating chaos in Washington around the results.
That's probably why he hasn't been on the campaign trail lately. He hasn't had any rallies for about a week. He's just sending awkward ass JD Vance out there to be awkward in front of an audience. Like, it's weird.
Just like 2020, right? Just like January 6, 2021, except this time with no Mike Pence in the way and with Republican officials already in place in multiple states saying, yeah, you may not get any sort of official vote. The weirdness of this campaign is astonishing 99 days out. The dislocation from real campaigning, though, the dislocation from actually asking people for their votes, that means something. It means they are not trying to win this thing in a normal way. So 99 days out, as Democrats stand up what, by all accounts, looks like a juggernaut traditional campaign under Kamala Harris,
Hoorah.
are they prepared for this level of weirdness after the votes are cast? Are they ready for what's coming?
So here's the main question. If they're not going to do a traditional vote and you're not going to certify it, wouldn't it be wild if they just based it on the popular vote, which Trump can't win? I don't think any Republican ever has. It's that stupid electoral college that we need to do away with in this country. But if they just somehow go, okay, we won't certify it for the electoral votes, we'll just go on the popular vote. We got it tallied already, so we're good. So that was my rant for the evening. As always, the link to the video, the original video, will be down in the description. And if you liked it, didn't like it, leave a comment. Let me know what I can do better next time. Until then, have a great night. Deuces.